Welcome to Thrash Heavy Rhythm. Got something special for you here, and it's riffs in the style of Exodus on the Bonded by Blood album. Now, before I show you the riffs, what I want to explain here is I I listened to the album. I listened to the very riffs that I wanted to do here, that I wanted to show you, and there's a certain knack to the actual phrasing of the rhythm that Exodus undergo when it comes to writing riffs. Now, although the riffs, particularly on this album, are very, very simple, very, very straightforward, and some might say primitive, if you like, but there's that certain knack, when I was trying to transcribe them, they were actually a lot harder to actually get exactly right. So I'm probably playing these wrong, and there are certain subtleties and certain dynamics in the playing that actually takes place within all of these riffs, or most of them. But basically, what I've done is I've done the best I possibly could to get them right, and even if they're not still right, I play them. I play them the way I do anyway, and it's another good exercise to actually listen to your favorite kind of riffs that you like doing, and when you learn to play and stuff like that, and learn to play the actual riffs, it's a good idea to sort of develop your own way, your own little subtleties, because every metal guitarist, whatever kind of music, is different, and that is exactly how the techniques are going to play out. And also, that is a great way to actually help you to actually develop your style, your own personal thing that's unique to you. It's like, for instance, I've done, when I was a lot younger guitarist, and on the search for a certain guitar tone or a certain way a certain guitarist sounded, and when it came to the actual gear and how things were set and all that, and once I think I did actually come quite close, or I'd actually talked to some guy that knew a lot more than I did about metal guitar playing. This was years ago, and I actually found that once I actually tried it myself, I didn't like it. I mean, alright, it didn't sound shit to my ears. It sounded quite good, but I couldn't use it. And I thought, well, I'm going to change things a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more of a certain frequency, or a little bit more, or a bit less gain, or a bit whatever. It's like, and also I'm going to execute. I have my style of riffing, and if I play one of their riffs, it's like, yeah, okay, that's near enough it, but I just don't feel it. I just don't. So then, you make small adjustments until you find your own way of doing things. It's like, for instance, if you play a certain, I don't know, a certain note pattern, a certain chord sequence, or a combination of the two, or whatever, and you think, well, I would swap those notes around, I would do it differently. So again, guitar playing, how you hear things, how you play things, how you feel things on your fingers, in your actual technique. It's like we do things slightly differently, and think, we make the adjustments to think, yeah, that's better, that's how I like doing it. So, and but anyway, I'm gonna take you through the riffs now, and then so Exodus. So 6 riffs I've got here, based on the Bonded by Blood album. First, Bonded by Blood, the title song. And there's a number of repeats that each riff goes, but sometimes it changes. So this is the other kind of, like, this is all part of the knack. This is all part of the actual style they play. It's like they can sort of. It's kind of a certain way. It's hard to explain. You'd have to listen to the record, and you'd have to learn a lot about their actual style and spend a lot of time with it. But anyway, okay. So the next song is the title is Exodus. Now there are certain parts of this song that they're very similar to that riff, but they're more. The old two-note chords, you know. I don't know exactly how they do it because I haven't actually listened to that riff, but the riff I'm playing there is the one that goes under the words, under the verses. Okay, and then there were none. Excuse me, do that again. And then one of the fast one, the A Lesson in Violence, the actual anthem, yeah. Shit, go again. Okay, and then I forget the names of the songs, you know. I mean, but fuck it, I'm gonna play you it anyway. You'll know what riff I'm playing if you've got the album, you'll know it. Piranha. This ain't about no goldfish. This ain't about no tuna fish, and it ain't about no trout. It's a bit of Paul Bailoff stuff there. So that's what he used to shout from the stage. Okay, and oh god, what is the fucking sixth song called? I'm just going to play the riff anyway. So, No Love. It's one with the acoustic intro, the sort of classical guitar intro that Gary Holt does it so well. I don't play that style of music. I mean I like it, but I can't play it. But I can play you the heavy riffs, you know. So, all right. Got a bit out of place there. You see, that's the thing I'm talking about when it comes to the actual phrasing. You know, it's like sometimes the actual patterns, the actual chord sequences actually misplaced on the beat or off the beat or behind it, in front it, syncopated, that sort of thing, which gives it that groove, you know, which gives it that sort of distinction, which is quite set apart from a lot of the other thrash metal bands. Like, you know, I know those bands all have their own style too, but this is Exodus we're talking about. So I'll play the riff again. Okay, I'm going to break these Exodus riffs down for you. So from the first one, I'll play them nice and slowly. Okay, and the next one from Exodus. And then there were none. No, wrong one. Some of these riffs, when you actually try and play them slow and break them down, they are quite difficult to actually do. So please bear with me here. And I'm not sure I'm playing these right in the first place anyway. So I'm doing as best as I can here. So, and that's what we've all got to do, you know. So yeah. Ah, fucking hell. I'm thinking of the wrong fucking song now. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, fucking wrong chord and all. So when you're doing these riffs, try not to confuse them with each other. That is easily done, you know. I'm thinking of the riff to No Love, but this is And Then There Were None, so it's... Okay, and A Lesson in Violence. Slightly out of tune there, excuse me. Oh hell, it must be the way I'm holding it. That can happen, you know. So that's what we got to watch. Okay, one thing about this riff, and with a lot of thrash riffs, is the actual power chords. There's usually a 2-note like this. A full-size power chord, as we know, it's got the octave. It's got the octave note as well, which gives it the full sound like that. But oftentimes when we're going, I'm going to bother sort of, but anyway, you know, so there are times when going fast up and down with thrash riffs, sometimes it's better to sort of do the 2-note thing rather than add, or then there are certain times in the riff where accents are required. And of course, and this is my own way of interpreting riffs. Interpreting, fucking hell, bad fucking English. Interpreting riffs. It's like, I mean, everybody's got to develop their own way of doing it. Do whatever feels good for you, sort of thing. You know, whatever you feel works. It's like, so with this riff, it's like if I'm playing it fast, right? With this chord there, those two, I use all 3 notes. But these, I just use the 2-note there, and it's a lot easier to sort of chug on them. So we're doing slide chords then. Various riffs like that. So both ways can actually work. So find your own way of doing stuff there. Right, okay, so next riff, Piranha. Okay, so finishing off this lesson with No Love, the heavy riff after the acoustic classical guitar intro that Gary does so well. Okay, so. Sorry, wrong chord. Okay, so that's all 6 of the riffs there, and basically, like I said, what I actually find is a lot of different distinctive detail in the actual phrasing, in the groove, in the way the riffs and certain parts are accented, and that's their style. And this is why it's like, although they're quite simple to follow, but they're also kind of think, well, there are certain parts, and it's kind of like it's actually quite hard to actually capture the actual style. I actually found that, after so many years that I've been playing, I've always had, it's like after so many years of writing my own stuff and not doing hardly any covers at all, apart from the odd one now and then I might have a go at. I do more covers these days, of course, but this is where you find that there's a certain knack that certain guitarists have. The rhythm guitarists, well, you'll probably find it with all the top all the good guitarists in metal, in thrash, every genre. Like, you'll find where you think you understand the riff, and there are parts you actually, when you actually set about learning it, it's like, my God, I still can't get that quite right. When you listen back to the original recording, or go and see him live, sometimes. Okay, so hope you get all you can out of this lesson, and keep thrashing. Another thing I would like to explain about the Exodus riffs, the tone, as well as the actual technique being a hell of a lot, which makes up what they sound like. But the actual general tone was always definitely high gain amps. Now, for much of their career, particularly in the early days on those early albums, like as we're doing the early riffs here, what Gary Holt and possibly Rick Hunolt as well, modded Marshalls, modded JCM 800s, or JCM 800, sorry, modded and boosted with a tube screamer or something like that. But definitely modded, definitely hot rodded Marshalls were definitely the tone. And Gary Holt has been known to switch from EMG pickups to sometimes Seymour Duncan. I think, I'm not 100% sure on that. Like, I know that in recent times he's used, a few years ago he was on Seymour Duncan pickups, and recently he's on the EMGs with his ESP guitars and that sort of thing. And he used in more recent times, he's been known to use like Engel, stuff like that. He did have a PV Triple X one time. He demonstrated one where he showed on a video what amp he was using there. But I'm sure he's used, I think on the Another Lesson in Violence live album with the late great Paul Bailoff on that one. I think I could see it in the background when you look inside the CD on the pictures and that. I think he used a PV 5150. I think they both did, possibly. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I think they did. But for the most of their career, it was like modded Marshalls, and he's been known to use those on recent albums as well, blending in with other amplifier choices like I say, Engel, PV and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't know exactly what models or all the thing. But recently, very recently, when he did his time in Slayer, he used DSL Marshalls, and after that he used the Kemper units, which of course he profiled all his old amps on there. But like I say, especially back to the modded modded Marshall 800s, were definitely his thing that he used quite a lot. So basically, any kind of high gain amp will definitely get you there. I mean, I'm using Line 6 Insane. I mean, that probably doesn't work for a lot of people. I don't know, but it's different for different people. I don't know, but any high gain amp should get you there, you know. And okay, so that's basically his tone, and it's only a vague guess. Is guesswork, you know. And of course, this is what he said in interviews and stuff like that. And that's all I can really sort of say on it. I don't want to. I would hate to explain too much that isn't true, because you know, if I don't know if I haven't got the right information, then I would rather spare. I'd rather spare you all of that, you know. So, but the most important thing is definitely getting the riffs down, just the basics, which I'll explain here. Okay, so anyway, I hope this helps, and I hope you enjoyed learning about the classic Exodus sound. And the thing is about getting that basic rhythm, getting those rhythm chops down, and particularly when you get faster at it as well. It's like you can play these riffs as fast as you like when you start getting used to them, you know. And that's the other point of a thing that I would like to stress is don't push yourself beyond your own capabilities. You know, don't go getting injured, because that can fucking happen. I even cramped up one time when I played live, you know, when I had to switch from down picking to alternate chugging and stuff like that. I mean, and I hit a riff like that was quite fast, and I did end up nearly getting a fucking injury. But that's another story. It's not about this video, but anyway, but it's about thrash riffing in general, about digging in with the right hand and stuff like that, and down picking, and finding your own style. Basically, finding what, you know, it's like knowing your own physical capabilities in this game is really important. Okay, so I hope this all helps, and if you're on YouTube, please subscribe below. Also check out links. Horns up, thrash on.